Hello and welcome to the third daily podcast from Rollin Dice show here at Essen 2015. I'm Andy Jones and I'm joined here by Thomas Ryan.
Hello.
And by my colleague Richard Smith.
Hello.
So for the past couple of days we've been recounting our best experiences from the days at Essen, at the Spiel exhibition convention. But today's different because we've all had one amazing experience together, which sounds
sounds like it didn't even involve board games, but
I mean, we had that special time together as well,
but we got to demo a game which was incredibly difficult to do, and it was reserve every day, and thankfully for a friend we managed to get on the list. So Richard, what game was that?
it was called T.I.M.E Stories. It's a special little game. I'm not quite sure who publishes it, actually.
Neither am I, which...
Wow, I mean, so much research. So professional.
Constantly on the edge of board gaming news. Okay, so T.I.M.E Stories was sold out probably from the first day. In English and German. It's now only available in French.
Which I think is the country that it's published in.
Yeah, because the expansion is already available in French.
Well, I think the first expansion's available in both languages, but the second expansion's going to be available in French.
No, I think the second is already in French.
Yes, you're right. Sorry.
English and German in December.
But more importantly, we played the base game, and we got a very short hour demo, which isn't enough to complete the game, and we basically couldn't stop talking about it once we left. So
yeah, as we were walking away from the spiel, we were in the very last session for T.I.M.E Stories, and as we were walking away, we kept remembering little bits and going off on rants about it, and we had to keep saying, no, stop, save this for the podcast.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have like 2 hours worth of memories from that hour session. Like, it's
is that good?
Yeah.
Before we begin, I will just say we won't spoil any of the story, because it's a sort of it's one story that you get in the base game, and I don't think we want to ruin any particular thing about it for you. So we're just going to talk very generally and very vaguely.
Not go into any specifics, but kind of talk about how.
The mechanics, I guess.
How the mechanics worked, how maybe kind of how we felt about certain things that happened whilst trying not to say what those things were.
Yeah.
So,
Rich, do you want to give a brief overview of sort of not the scenario, but the story,
the game in general. So T.I.M.E Stories is about. Have you played the video game Assassin's Creed? Because I'll be honest, there's a lot of parallels.
It really is.
But it's got.
It's also French.
It is also French, so maybe that's it. It's Ubisoft taking over the world. But yeah, so the idea is that you are back in time, but only your mind is back in time, and it has been put into the body of somebody from that time period. In the specific scenario that comes in the core box, everybody is lunatics in an asylum. So everybody had a certain negative trait to them, and boy, were they negative.
Yeah.
And so within that, all you know is that there is something wrong with the space-time continuum in this place. And you have to find out what it is, and you have to try and solve it. And we were told by the person helping us that it would probably take about 6 hours of play to find out what it is and maybe solve it, depending on how well you did. And realistically, that's not going to be on your first time through the game. Each game probably takes about an hour and a half, like each session, sorry. And that's based...
I'm going to guess it's probably hour and a half to 2 hours, considering we had half the resources and...
I mean, we can't say for certain because we've just played the demo.
Exactly. We're not certain, and obviously we were learning. So, but the idea is that you will play it once, kind of discover some things. Some things will carry over. So almost like Tom made the analogy of Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
So some things will carry over that you found, which are largely things like location-based things that you find.
Yeah, and maps.
Exactly, maps. But everything else will already set. So when you go through it, you'll still have to talk to the same people. You'll still have to go to the same places to find specific bits. But you could almost speed run through the sections you've already done. And
you're skipping the middleman.
Yeah,
the second playthrough,
and hopefully finding out what was going on and eventually solving it. So yeah, I mean, it's. I've probably not really done it justice explaining it, because it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It was a really. We all had a really good time. We were all absolutely shattered before we got there. Saturday at Essen was amazing, but it was a nightmare. And we all came away from that coming reinvigorated, ready to play some dang video games. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a brief overview of the game and the story. Should we have
Sorry, just to add to that. So basically, you play an investigator, and you're investigating these rooms, and just to clear up what you said, Rich, you're trying to find out what this problem is as quickly as possible against time, and if you don't solve it, that's when it reloops.
Yeah, so the amount of time that you have in that given investigation is essentially your resource, which you'll be burning through. If you stay in the same room, you lose one of that resource, and if you move to a different room, you roll a dice, which will either have you'll either lose 1, 2, or 3 time units. And once you get to 0 time units, your brain is sucked back into your body, which is in the present, which is the future.
Yeah.
So that's when you'll have to kind of dive back in and start another session.
Yeah, Tom.
Yeah, and I mean that I've only really just thought about this as you were explaining it again, but actually that really suits the sort of length of time you want for a role-playing game, which is what it is, even though it's very different to anything else you'd usually play in Dungeons and Dragons. That time frame is just perfect for it. The resources seem to be as you run out, that's probably when you'll go, okay,
2 hours
let's pick this up again.
is a good amount of time to play a game like that.
Yeah.
Because it is you have your high, and then you start waning, and then hopefully you'll have something cool that happens at the end that kind of you remember that session by. Which again, without wanting to spoil anything, we definitely had at the end of that.
Very good cliffhanger.
Yeah, which, I mean, I think we can say this, involved Tom punching the thing we were fighting, and all of us, so everybody other than Tom died.
Yeah.
Which incidentally was Tom's...
yeah, that was my drawback / mental instability, was that I was paranoid, and as a result, just lash out when I get nervous.
Yeah, so if one side of the combat die was blank, if you rolled 3 of those...
I got very stressed.
Yeah, and then just hit everything in sight.
Which only deals 1 damage, but it deals 1 damage to everyone in the same room. In that instance, everyone was... or same location within a room, rather.
And everybody is a normal person, so
yeah,
they go down.
One of the players only had 1 health anyway, so...
Poor old woman that you hit in the face.
Yep.
What I really liked about the game was the... instant narrative that you sort of fell into, because so basically you search the locations and their cards, and they tell you a bit of information, but I can remember clearly sort of the personalities, and we're only talking a paragraph of text you're given, but they sort of round out the characters so well that you just this guy's a bit pervy, or this woman's an old bat, stuff like that, and it's just sucked me into that world.
Yeah, absolutely.
So beautifully.
I mean, each room. So you've got a kind of mini map in the top left of the board, and then each room is represented by a series of kind of almost tarot-sized cards. So slightly different size, but roughly that.
Roughly tarot size. Yeah.
Which has a beautifully painted image of the room that you're in, and let's say it's 5 tarot cards. And there's five of these cards, sorry, and there's 4 players. Each player goes to a specific location within that room, i.e., they go to one of these cards. So, there's a brief description saying what's what, like saying, oh, there is a woman and she's looking at you sternly, and there's a man sitting that waves you over. So one person might choose to go and speak to the man, one person might speak to the woman, one person might go look out the window. I don't know. And then they all pick the card up according to the space that they've gone to and read the text on the back. And some of those cards had extra art on the back, which was like reactionary to what you'd done. So. And then you might have encounters to do, you might have to make specific rolls, you might get specific items from having found things. It was really smart. It was really cool.
Yeah. There's just so many little bits that when they were unveiled, I just went, that's smart, that's amazing. That's
that's
really
the thing,
clever.
like, I've been amazed at like kind of twists and stuff that are written into narrative of games before. But what I was permanently amazed by each time something got revealed was just the mechanics. Like, I kept just going, oh, that's a really, really cool play mechanic. Like,
yeah, like
oh,
why is this the first time I'm seeing this in a game?
Yeah. I mean, really, that was what we. I was definitely asking myself as it came up, because like you mentioned earlier, it's a role playing game, and I've never seen a role playing game. I mean, it's essentially a role playing game in the narrative you are playing roles.
Yeah.
Like, so we're playing the roles of people playing roles.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything represented that way. I mean,
No.
exploring this map that is actually given to you, and exploring specific places within specific rooms and everything. It was really cool.
I think what's also nice is that when these locations are placed, they're all face down, and just that excitement of seeing the image, so you sort of know what's there, but like on the back is the text of with the information, or the talking to the characters, and just that excitement of turning that card over to see what you're going to find out next was amazing. Yeah, absolutely amazing.
And within that, what was really cool was, obviously it is a game where you are finding out pieces of information or specific items or whatever, speaking to specific people. And a lot of those cards will have either, if you have this item, then flip the card over and read the thing at the bottom, or if you meet a certain criteria, you have to do that. But also there are items that there are cards within those rooms, so those tarot-sized cards that I was talking about, that you are only able to go to if you already have a specific thing, or you've already found something else out. Which means that you go to a space and it's like, hang on.
Yeah, what are those hidden ones?
What are those hidden ones? Where do we find that
what
information?
haven't I unlocked? Yeah.
And, again, like the last thing that we did when Tom knocked us all out was Tom found a clue, but we didn't know where it went. So Tom got a token that indicated that one of those cards would be open to us, but we didn't know where to use it.
Yeah, we just had no idea where that token is going to end up, like what location it's going to be or anything.
So it means that we need to go back through, explore everything that we found, and try and... It was really cool.
Yeah, I think some of the best strengths in games are ones that keep making you ask questions.
Yeah.
And that does it absolutely beautifully.
I mean, and also, it felt fair. The combat felt relatively fair. It's quite a cool little system in how that worked out.
Yeah.
It's based on dice rolling, but so essentially some of them have hits and some of them have skulls and some of them are blanks. The skulls add to the threat level of the thing you're fighting, and if that goes over what your resistance is, then you take 1 health. Yeah. Which was cool. Yeah. Like it was a really nice way of doing that, because it meant that every dice roll was a risk. It meant that we were celebrating each time we did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we don't often do that,
Yeah.
Because normally you're just kind of expecting to win. But like I say, these people we were controlling were normal, messed up people.
Yeah. I think also there's the threat of time really helps to that, because if you have to take an extra turn, which decreases your time measure, then you're like, that's a big deal. If you're not given that many, so they're precious.
I don't think it would be like spoilers to say there was a lockbox at one point. There was a box that was just had a lock on it, and we were like, okay, we can either spend a turn all working together on this, so we spend one extra time, and we'll probably get this open and get some random items, or we just get out of here and just figure we've probably got enough out of this room. And I'm fairly certain we did have enough out of that room.
But we might not have done.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that lockbox gives us the location where we use the thing
exactly.
that...
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Like,
and
great.
like we made a few choices like that where
Yeah.
perhaps we hadn't spoken to someone, or we hadn't done this or we hadn't done that, and it's just it's a case of balancing the scales. Is the risk worth the reward? And
like,
beautiful. I can't stop saying beautiful.
yeah, there was like one particular bit that I just thought, again, was amazing. Someone went to speak to someone in a room, and bear in mind this is a role-playing game with no DM, which is my favourite thing in the world, because as much as I love role-playing games, being a DM is the most painful part because you don't get to participate in the story.
Yep.
This completely negates that.
Yeah.
But
Don't be too specific.
no, I'm not. No, that's
Okay, cool.
But I was just going to say, but there's one bit where he'll only talk to certain characters.
Yeah.
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 And I was just sort of like, that's so cool. So you could get that, and it says like this person won't talk to you, or they don't seem bothered by you. So you can either waste another time and send one of the other characters there, or you might not even have that particular character that he's looking to talk to. In which case, yeah.
But what I love about that is that instantly you get a good understanding of that character, and because you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
he's like that. Like,
Yeah. Exactly.
And,
Yeah,
you just,
and just on the specific card you're talking about, you flip the card over and there was an image of this guy and he was slimy as all heck.
Yeah.
So who knows what happens. It was really cool. It was absolutely dripping in theme.
Yeah.
We all thoroughly enjoyed it. My only thing is that I'm not sure, once you've played through it and beaten it, which in theory will take 6 hours, whether you'll want to go back through it again. Is my only concern going into it. I mean, we've not spent that much time with it at all, but once you know how to solve the mystery, I'm not certain whether you would want to solve the mystery again.
Yeah, beyond kind of speedrunning it, seeing how quickly
efficient
you
can be.
You can do it. Which, I mean, there are people that will play it like that, and there's definitely a market for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not particularly how I would play it, but I am so looking forward to playing it.
Yeah,
and spending,
I mean,
6 hours playing that.
And as Andy mentioned, as we were talking about buying it, I think the way to do it is it's a 4-player game. Get 4 people to buy the game.
Yeah.
Like, all chip in, split the cost, be about €10,
Yeah.
maybe about £10 each. Like, just do it. Like, it'll be a good purchase.
yeah. And if they keep the 2 expansions already,
Do we know anything about the theme of the other expansions? Like,
no idea.
no.
I know that it's got a cassette tape on the box.
Okay.
So rather than the kind of, I don't even know what time period
No.
this.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, early 1900s, maybe something like that.
So, yeah.
It's going to be presumably 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
But still,
But I mean, the beauty of the backstory is that you're travelling back in time to anywhere.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
Could be
And
anywhere.
well, you say travelling back in time. There's
Could
no
be
reason you
travelling
couldn't
forward.
travel forward in time.
I mean, the game's set in the far future, so
Yeah, but I mean, yeah,
Just how far is that future?
exactly.
who knows?
Cool. So I think that's a definite yes on Time Stories from Rollin Dice.
Yeah, I mean, we've not spent that much time with it, but literally we all came away beaming and, having thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah,
So,
I literally can't wait to play more.
like, we will...
Literally.
Yeah,
cannot
literally.
wait.
Like, it pains me that I have to wait.
He is actually dying now because he
Yeah.
can't. But yeah, so we'll definitely be picking one up, and I would certainly recommend that if you see one, get it, because
Yeah. Just make sure it's in the right language.
if they're selling the way they did at Essen, they'll be going out of stock really quickly, and who knows when they'll be back in reprinted.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. This is the final podcast from Essen, and we just want to thank you for hopefully listening to all 3. We've got videos and articles coming out about our time here at the world's biggest board game exhibition. But for now, thank you, Thomas, Mr.
Thanks,
Tom, for joining us. Where can we find you on Twitter?
At T Ryan Art.
Richard Smith, if someone wants to talk to you personally, where can they find you on Twitter?
At RDS Rich.
I'm at RDS Jonesy, and you can find us on rollindiceshow.com, youtube.com/Rollin Dice Show, or at Rollin Dice Show. Again, thanks for listening, and we will see you next time.
Bye bye.